Hello everybody, I am just in line to get my car washed, so I'm not really driving, I'm just sitting parked basically. Looking to see what people are looking for in a realtor. What are some of the qualities, what are some of the services they could provide, and maybe if you're not necessarily looking to buy or sell a house right now, what are some qualities in a real estate show that you might be looking for? Like a YouTube channel kind of television show. Okay, you can see some people watching. Hello out there. Just seeing what people are looking for in a realtor, or even a realtor-based program like YouTube program, maybe like a 5-minute every other day. Hey Mel, hey Charles, how you doing? Good to see you out there. Just not actually driving. It's actually a pet peeve of mine when I see, people driving and not paying attention on the road, but just in line right now to get a car wash. And I figured I may as well make some use of this time, and rather than just sitting twiddling my thumbs, I'll pose a question to people out there saying, what do you find valuable in a realtor, or what would you find valuable in a realtor when you're looking to buy or sell, or if it was to be in some sort of like a real estate program or television program. So any thoughts on that? Just feel free to comment. What has me thinking about this is I'm throwing together a YouTube channel where there's going to be lots of valuable information, but I don't want it to be dry. I don't want it just to be like market stats, because that's boring. You can really get those anywhere. You can read those in the newspaper, or there's a million other agents out there that are offering that up, and sure, they're valuable, but you gotta jazz them up somehow, right? So if there's maybe some helpful household hacks, or different strategies to sell your home faster, staging tips people always like, or would you bloopers? I mean, some people, if they saw a realtor falling down the stairs, depending on who their last realtor was, they might find it absolutely hilarious. So if you have any tips on what you'd like to see there, that would be good. It's a beautiful day out. It's awesome. I'm actually kind of sweating a bit in the suit in the Jeep here, but I'm worried about audio, so we'll see. I'm looks like about 10 cars back. Don't know if it was the best day to decide to get the car washed or not, but it's gonna be some time, so may as well make some use of it. So oh, there's another one gone. Alright, so yeah, like I say, any kind of interesting things that you might find. I always kind of find it funny, with these house hunting shows, where you take a couple and you've seen a whole bunch of listings, and it's the feigned response is like, oh no, I would never move and I love it or list it kind of thing, or it's sometimes I find it's a little overacted, but people love it. People think it's great. I find that real estate is something that people are always wanting to talk about, which is a great thing. Because there's just so many different aspects to it. There's the marketing side, which I love. If any of you know me, that's really what I do. Hey Jamie, just asking people out there what they would like to see in like a YouTube series about real estate, whether it's household hacks, or home decorating tips, or bloopers, somebody a realtor getting into some falling down the stairs or doing something, or even just little tips and tricks, marketing tips that you could do when you're selling your place. What people are looking for, Would you want to watch buyers? Follow them around into different homes and see what their reactions are, what they like. But that's really what I'm asking, to see what kind of response I can get from people, and hopefully we get some really good tips, and then hopefully we can see your what you would like to see on a YouTube channel that I'm putting out here in the next week or so. But just want to provide valuable content to people, something that people are actually going to want to watch, because I find, again, just throwing out numbers to people like, oh, you know, the average home selling price is this. Well, first of all, does it really matter what the average for the whole city is when you have different communities that seem to thrive at different times compared to, you know, the other harder hit communities? Like condos can sometimes take a harder hit, or, you know, maybe when they're the more affordable one, maybe that's the one that seems to take off. Hey Kara, Tyler, my man, good to see you. Again, just feel free to keep them coming. Just share your tips, or share not even so much your tips, but share any of your thoughts that you'd want to see on a YouTube-based show on real estate. And it doesn't have to be, again, that boring, the boring talking head that's in his car talking about the market. It could be something more fun and more interactive. I know I like doing the videos that are the open house ones, and I get lots of response, and thank you for those that watch that. Oh, I see Sonia Mar. Hey Sonia. But yeah, anything that you might think of, anything that you would really want to see, like what appeals to you about watching a little segment from a realtor on a YouTube or Facebook channel. Not only that, but what are you looking for in a realtor himself? I know something that that kind of came up here when I was on my Facebook. I'm friends with a lot of realtors in a lot of different cities, which is something that I do just because if I have somebody moving from one city to another, I'll know somebody to refer. But this person asked me, they said, or they put a general comment out on Facebook saying that they're thinking about doing real estate part-time. And they're just throwing it out there to all the realtors they knew, and it was actually for a medium that's usually very positive, and usually get a lot of positive, you know, realtors supporting realtors. A lot of realtors are like, listen, don't do it. You can't service your clients if you're part-time. The horror stories that I could only imagine if you were working a 9-to-5 or had other commitments that were during regular office hours, especially when it comes to like lending or and real estate, to be taken away from that, you're doing your client a real disservice. Example one, maybe their dream home comes up, and it comes up at, say, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and you don't see that it comes up until, you know, you're off work, you get home, you sit down in front of your computer, and now you realize that the home that matches what they're looking for, or they've been trying to phone you all day, but because you can't answer your phone at work, you're behind the 8 ball. And does that client want you to represent them? I'm going to say no. And that's not as bad as what could happen. I mean, you could be potentially costing your clients tens of thousands of dollars if you are not on point. So again, one of my number one things would be, is your realtor a full-time realtor? Or do they have some other job that's a commitment to them that's going to be taking away from from representing you. That's to me one of the biggest ones that you can do. Yeah, because I can't see, if you were at another job and trying to do real estate, certainly if something was to go awry, you the realtor wouldn't be affected as badly. Your boss certainly isn't going to be affected as badly, but the person you hired, your other boss for your second job, which is real estate, they would be affected huge. So yeah, number one, that they are a licensed professional and that they are a full-time licensed professional. So that would be something to mention in the YouTube podcast that I'm going to be doing, or the YouTube vlog that I'm going to be doing. If there's anything else that people are interested in seeing in like a regular YouTube segment about realtors, just leave me a comment. Casey, I see ya. Ames, good to see ya. Other things that I could think of is how savvy are they with the internet, right? What kind of tools do they have to their disposal? Are they great? Are they a real estate dinosaur? Christina, good to see you. Again, just talking about what somebody would want to see in a YouTube vlog, or a semi-regular YouTube vlog that would be of value to them, but also entertaining. Like, let's keep it fun. And I'm not driving. Well, I kind of am. I'm just in line for a car wash, so I'm not distracted driving, just so you know. Sean McCallum, good to see you, sir. So yeah, again, what would you find even more so, I mean, value. I want to provide value and entertainment to a YouTube vlog that I'm doing. So what would you find valuable? What would you like to see? Guest appearances, maybe? would that be something? What else here? Also asking what people find valuable in a realtor, not so much just what they would find valuable in a real estate related show, but what do they find valuable in a realtor? We already discussed here about being full-time in real estate, being licensed and full-time. So being knowledgeable, of course, being licensed, a code of ethics, absolutely, is something that you want. You don't want somebody has interests other than your own at heart. That's to me, that's best business practices, to have the best interest of your client at heart. It's not only ethical and falls into the code of ethics, but it's a great business practice, because if your clients are always your interests are always your client's best interests, that comes across. And when they think of a great realtor, they're going to think of you. So they're going to pass your name forward. So that to me is definitely a thing, is definitely having a code of ethics, full-time in real estate, a licensed realtor, somebody that's savvy with electronics and social media. Somebody that can do a really great Facebook Live from their Jeep. That's what you want in a realtor. Different social media platforms. Actually, here's an interesting thing. I was talking to somebody here the other day, and they're like, oh, not so many of the kids are doing Facebook. They're doing more Instagram. So that person was getting out of Facebook. And then I heard another person talking like, well, I don't know if I want to get into Instagram, because it's all, it's a bunch of kids and Gen Xers and not Gen Xers, but the millennials, and they don't they're not buying houses right now. And well, actually, you know, there's a lot of millennials that are buying houses right now. So you should be on that platform. And just because the Instagram may be full of, you know, 19 to 25, you know, age range, just because they're there doesn't mean that they're not going to be possibly in the market to be buying a house or looking for a realtor in the next year or two. Jamin, sir, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Good to see you on here. Again, buddy, just asking what somebody finds valuable in a realtor. So qualities that are important to them to have in a realtor, and different elements that you would like to see in a YouTube type show for real estate. Again, yes, market stats and whatnot, but numbers can get boring and they're always skewed, right? I mean they're correct, but by just stating like an average home selling price, well, that doesn't necessarily reflect what's happening in the different areas, right? Because you got the luxury home market, which might not be doing as well, or maybe it's doing better than the rest, which will skew the numbers. So to have it really informative is something that would be of value for sure. But if it's just numbers being thrown at you, that's not interesting. That's not fun. You're not going to watch that. So what are some things that you would want to see? I'm just getting messages here too at the same time. So feel free to leave your comments. Let me know what you would like to see. And by the way, I'm not driving, so I'm just in line to get a car wash. So making use of that valuable time. I'm still like, where are we at here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars in. I'm gonna be dying. It's warm out. It's so warm. What was that? But Lori, good to see you. Lori, question: what would you find valuable in a realtor? Number one, what do you want to see in a realtor? Number two, what do you want to see in a real estate related YouTube channel? Like, is it sheer entertainment value, or is it just market stats, or is it like household tips and tricks, you know, how to save money on your heating, what community is the hottest, like what's happening. It's important for him to bring sexy back. He is. Sex appeal meets curb appeal. You know it, Lori. LOL. That's awesome. But yeah, so yeah, again, both, exactly. To have it be informative, but to also have it as a an entertainment source, right? Because you can do both. It doesn't have to be. I see a lot of I research. I have lots of friends that do real estate in different cities and whatnot, and I see there's a lot of, maybe it's just people being camera shy or whatnot, but you'll get, here are the market stats for Calgary. The average home price is blah blah blah. You know, it's boring. And an average home price, yes, it matters, you know, year to year, but what is your specific segment doing? Like, do you want to know the average home price? Or if you live in a condo, do you want to know what the condo market is doing? Not only that, but do you want to know what apartments condos are doing compared to townhouse condos? Maya, how you doing, Maya? James, Kirk. I also want my realtor to be honest. Tell what I need to get my house ready, declutter, get rid of, etc. Yeah, exactly. Something interesting about that, I know there's realtors out there to do some staging. I personally bring an interior designer. She's great, Karina. She's awesome. She comes in and will help you stage using your own furniture, or if you have too much stuff, she'll say, hey, you know, like, we can put this aside or that aside. And staging using your own stuff, it saves you a little bit of money. And also a lot of these stagers will be able to supply additional furniture or swap out pieces if needed. Yeah, you know what? You've walked through a house and wondered if they even really want to sell it. Yes, I totally agree. It's funny, when you go to sell I'm sitting in my Jeep right now getting it washed, but if you go to sell your vehicle, what do? You get out the Q-tip and you're detailing it, right? So with your home, sure, there's one thing being tidy, but also being clean. Like, go, you know, clean like the grout and clean, like, it makes a huge difference. Your light switches, you know what I mean? You touch those how many times, right? And like, wipe them down and get in there, get the dirt out. It's, even if somebody doesn't really notice it, in deep down in their subconscious, they notice it. So that's an excellent thing. Lori, good point. James, be available. Yeah, we were just talking about that too. It's interesting. I was just asked not too long ago by another realtor. She put it out as a general question out to all the realtors that she knows, if being part-time in real estate was a good idea. And it was a resounding no. Don't do it. And that's because you can't service your client if your commitments lie somewhere else, right? It's not fair to your boss if you're trying to take off time to go show houses. Hopefully spelling is not an ability. That's important. Yes, Glenn. That's one of the things about having fat thumbs and eager to get stuff out timely. But yes, spelling, you have caught me on that one, for sure. Trish, how you doing? How's Glenn? Actually, Glenn's also a really good realtor. So how are you doing in the market, man? How are you finding it? It's springtime. And I think it's getting busier. We had all those dumps of snow it's just been crazy, and it's I think it's affected people, and they didn't want to go out looking at houses. But now that we're finally warming up, I think we're seeing more activity out there in the market, definitely. Other than that, yeah, I totally got it covered. Yeah, it's definitely a thing. So yeah, anything else that people are interested in seeing in a real estate show, or that they'd want to that would be important to have as a quality in a realtor? I've seen some really interesting things in the past without attention to detail, I guess, would be a big one. I have seen some very, very interesting offers come in the past where certainly they're not doing their client any favors by not trying to be as correct as possible, by being like not having attention to detail, really. I mean, for the most part, all good, but there's the occasional one that you see that you're just like, what are you thinking, and who would have hired you to do this? And how did they, after they've seen you write up the contract, how would they think that that's acceptable, right? Because it leaves you at risk, right? If you have somebody that's missing, it's not, if you're not crossing your I's and dotting your T's. Wait a minute, is that right? If you're not crossing your T's and dotting your I's, there's a problem. So you want to make sure that somebody is, the person working for you is definitely doing that. Something I haven't seen yet come up, but I think is super important for a realtor to do: follow up. if it's something I think we can all be guilty of at times. You get busy and you think, oh, everybody knows what you're thinking, but they don't. So having like weekly reports saying, hey, this is what happened. Not all realtors give feedback when they show a home, but when you do get feedback, pass that on to your client. It's valuable for them to get that, especially if 4 out of 5 realtors are telling them that their price like way too high. It's or maybe 4 out of 5 realtors are saying, hey, maybe you should vacuum the carpet. Then that could be valuable information to them, and it could help them sell. So pass on feedback, good and bad, to your client. Definitely. I think somebody that's personable, somebody who can get along with, somebody that first of all understands your wants and needs is important. But it has to be both your wants and needs, because there's a big difference. I mean, I know what I would want in a home, and then there's what's reasonable and what I can afford, right? You want to make sure that that both of those are covered, and sometimes we can get blinded by the shiny and new, right? You'll see something like show homes are great for this. They just look, they sparkle, but that's gonna last until just after you move in, right? And then your dirty laundry gets out, and unless you're super OCD and whatnot, and it'll last you. More likely it'll last you a couple years, but it's something that definitely wears off eventually, right? So if you're buying a show home or something but it's like on the wrong end of the city, doesn't have the parking that you want, doesn't have the number of beds or bathrooms that you want, but you're buying it because, oh, it's shiny and great and it looks fantastic, it's not necessarily the best thing for you. I'm getting closer and closer to the to the car wash. This is awesome. Okay. Oh, but they're only working on one bay. Damn it. So again, what do you find valuable in a realtor? Like, what kind of qualities would you want in a realtor? And or when a realtor puts a show out, like a YouTube show, what would you want to see in that show? More entertainment driven, more stats and advice driven, maybe household hacks. We're entering into spring, and what are the top 10 things that I need to do to my house to get it ready for spring? How did that contest go? Matthew, I totally won it. I think I was in around the 500 and some odd likes, and the next person closest to me was like 100 and some. So totally won. So thank you for voting. You're awesome. Yeah, thanks, brother. I'm gonna be on it's gonna be, they told me the 21st, and they're telling me the first week of April. But yeah, I already went through and filmed 5 hours to film a house. That's crazy. They liked it. They said, "You want to do a few more for us?" I'm like, absolutely. We're gonna totally do that. So on CTV1 and CTV2, I'm going to do a few shows, but also gonna take that experience and also give something more value driven to the people that watch my YouTube channel, and see what we can do on there to maybe jazz it up a little bit. So, I mean, yes, looking at the homes is great and whatnot, but what are some things that are really interesting? Maybe even some hard-hitting topics that you want. Like, people have all sorts of questions that they're afraid to ask. Like, everything you wanted to know about real estate but was afraid to ask. So that would be great. Lynn Best, what do you got? What do you got, Lynn? You're just so you. That's what people see in you. The real deal. Yeah, you know what? And you're right, Lynn. And you're the same way. Lynn's a great realtor as well. Being genuine, I think, is super, super duper important in real estate. People can read through it if you're not. I remember years ago, I was looking to buy a place, and the realtor says, every house we went into, you know what, this is where you could put your barbecue. You'll put your barbecue out here, and oh, it'll be great. It didn't matter. It could have been a POS. It could have been the greatest property ever. But it was always about where we could put the barbecue. It almost got to be a joke with us, where we were like, so when is he gonna mention the barbecue? And it was funny, but being genuine is good. I also like when the realtor, you see it every single realtor show, they get to like double closets, and they'll go, oh, here we are at the hers and hers closet. Ha ha ha. It's like, it's brutal. The plumbing issue in older homes and in Iowa is causing new homeowners to fix the problem in such a time, even if they did not know the plumbing was being outdated. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you can't see behind the walls. So having a good home inspector, bringing a home inspector onto the show to talk about some of these problems that you have, sometimes, and some builds, and I have seen this, where they have built using a certain material, plumbing for example, like at one point Kitech plumbing was acceptable, and then it wasn't. They found out it was failing, and there have been whole condo complexes that have had to replace all of this Kitech plumbing throughout it. So you can only imagine, and of course what happens then is you get special assessments. Special assessments is where you have your regular condo fee that you're paying, and you're putting into a reserve fund, which is your rainy day or savings account. And what happens if there's an emergency that they didn't expect or didn't anticipate? There's now a cash call because they need it fixed, right? Like, you own that property, so you need to fix your home, and because your home affects other homes, because everyone's all attached and in the community, it's like, we need this money and we need it now. So I've seen it happen where it's you'll get like a $20,000 special assessment on something because they have used the wrong material, or material that wasn't wrong at the time but is now a failing product. So that's a good one, Matthew. And when I think about that, I also think about just different issues that you can see, and talking about condos. Condos is a great one. You can talk forever about them just because they're so dynamic. Let's see, apartments over 10 years old. Yep, that's the other trick, because that's on a new build. You're not going to see a whole lot happen to it, right? So it's great. You move in, and while they're trying to sell these condos, of course, they want to keep the condo fee low, and they're not putting in to the reserve fund like they should, because they want to keep that condo fee low because people are shopping on price. And by keeping that condo fee low and not putting any money into their rainy day or savings account, you're then affecting that. So when you hit about the 10-year mark, and some of these problems start to come to fruition, which is just regular maintenance, there's not enough money to handle it. So you're getting hit with a special assessment again. So that's another good one, Matthew. Okay, we are like 2 cars away from the car wash. This is awesome. I appreciate everybody being on. This is super cool and a great use of my time. Hey Frank, good to see you. Always good to see you on here, buddy. you know what? There can be some really good apartment units. You just really have to watch the builder. I don't know so much about Iowa, but I know here in Calgary there's some great condo builders, and there are some that are not so great. I mean, there's good realtors, bad realtors. There's good doctors, bad doctors. Good priests, bad priests. Right? Like it doesn't matter. Right? Like it's one of those things. But you can see there's some really nice ones up here in Calgary for condos. In fact, I'm gonna be showing a whole bunch of them here to a client of mine that's coming in from out of town. So yeah, that'll be interesting. Provide some feedback for you all on what we're looking at out there. And then I'll keep you updated for sure on when the Homes and Lifestyle, I believe it's episode 202. It's gonna have me in there talking about an amazing Evanston home. It's great for its price point. Gotta run, but you rock, man. No, you rock, Lynn. You rock. All right, good to see you. But thanks for all your feedback, Lynn. That was awesome. And for everybody else that's been watching, I'll end her just before I punch my numbers into the car wash thing. But yeah, it was lots of great feedback. Keep watching, and I'll let you know when my YouTube channel is really up and running. We'll try and keep it fresh, right? I don't want it to be. I mean, this is the exception because I'm waiting in my Jeep for the car wash, but I don't want it to be just the talking head and just be boring. we gotta jazz it up a bit, make it interesting. Am I underground right now? Nope. I am just outside getting into a car wash. James, good to see you. Good to see you, James. I'm not driving, even though it might look like it. Well, technically, I guess I am. I'm in line for a car wash. But what I was asking everybody was what they would find valuable in a YouTube vlog for real estate. Something like a series that would be a value. Number one, a value. Number two would be entertaining. Don't do Alex Jones style. I meant underground YouTube. Hello. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome, Matthew. But yeah, so anything you would find pertinent, things that you'd always wanted to ask a realtor but were afraid to. Not saying you're afraid, but things that you're like, maybe I just won't ask that. But yeah, feel free to leave that in the comments, because I'm going to take all these comments and get this YouTube channel up and running. I've been trying to do it for the last year, but it's something that's evaded me. I've just been, you could say busy, but it takes just a couple minutes to do. Or while you're in line to get your car washed, just gotta remember to roll up my back windows when I do that, because we've hit spring, the snow is melting, it's amazing. I'm happy about this. People are probably thinking I'm a madman, looking at me with my animated gestures. Probably all these people in line for the car wash are, what is that guy on? So, new updating laws. Yes. Actual costs and affordability between buyer and seller. Absolutely. that's a great thing to keep in mind. Things are always changing. We have been trying to regulate secondary suites since I started in the business, and probably before then. This has been 10 years of this run around. I mean, Nenchi's a big supporter of secondary suites. There are some people that aren't. I understand both sides, honestly. One of them is that if you bought into a community that doesn't allow them, maybe that was a deciding factor for you, that they're not allowing secondary suites and you didn't want your parking to be all congested and whatnot. So, yeah, I understand that side of it. The other side of it, I understand this is your property, and if you want to rent out a suite, as long as people can get out in a fire, absolutely, man, right? So, that's where we're at. Okay. And realtors are still super important, bro. It takes great instinct. I think this will sound bad. You should either be aiming to your demigorgon. That was a demigorgon. Just aiming to your demographic and younger. Yes, absolutely, to your demographic and younger. And I throw back to when I was talking about Insta. And there are some realtors that don't do Insta because they feel that the demographic isn't there. Well, you know what? They will be there. So if you're marketing, or if your realtor is marketing, tell them you want your stuff on Insta. Do it. Secondary suite is where you have like a little apartment. So you have like a live upstairs, and then you have like a renter in the basement that has a whole another kitchen. Yes, be as nonpartisan as you can. Okay, drive. Oh, I'm not driving. I am just in line for a car wash. James, don't worry. Safety first. Okay, but anyway, I do have to go because I have to punch in my car wash code and go from there. Other than that, see you all later. Contact me anytime if you have questions. Yeah, like a duplex but vertical, man. But yeah, contact me anytime. You got my Facebook, 403-613-6359. Thanks for the updates. Thank you for the updates, Jim, and all the best of luck with Selfling. And if you don't know what Selfling is, everybody that's watching, you should check it out. Selfling is awesome. Okay, talk to you soon.